want to be a guest.
Alright.
If it's just Chang and Denhoff, it's a yap and duet. Wet. Alright.
Hey!
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Chang Hoff podcast. We are here with our lovely guest, Phia. Welcome, Phia. Thank you for coming onto the podcast. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Indie punk rocker, DJ, designer,
Seamstress.
Ceramicist.
What else? Any other big ones?
There's so much. Multi-talented, multifaceted.
Creative.
Yeah, I have too many side quests.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's cool, though.
Yeah, I mean, I say this like all the time. I was talking to my friend Victoria, and Victoria and my friend Alex were talking, and they were like, Phia does so many things. It's like they have 8 days in the week. But in reality, it's really like I have enough mania to like fuel a small village, and I'm just like, when you have energy, you gotta put it somewhere, and I gotta put it in so many different capacities, because if I don't, I'll be like, I don't know, little cuckoo.
You gotta channel it.
Yeah, somehow.
I like how you describe that, though. Enough mania to fuel a small village.
Yeah, I just like be good. It all kind of started when can I talk about like drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I swear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It all started when I used to be a little stoner girly, and I would just like I wake up, drink way too much coffee, and then just be like, oh, I have so much energy to do so many things, and then I would kind of just like smoke my day away and then get paranoid and then do nothing. And then I stopped smoking weed in like 2021. Not cool anymore, honestly. My cool card got revoked back then. Anyway, but yeah, so I stopped smoking weed, and then I would still just like drink way too much coffee. Like, it was excessive. I would like make a whole pot and drink it in like an hour, and then I would just have too much energy to like not know what to do with it. And then I started sewing because the pandemic hit. So instead of like drinking a lot of coffee and getting really anxious and then smoking weed and calming down and doing absolutely nothing, I just replaced smoking weed with sewing. And then I would just like have a lot of energy and then make clothing, and then be like, wow, this is so cool for like 24 hours, and then that would wear off, and then I would just do it again. And that lasted like until probably like 2022, until I graduated from school. But yeah.
Did you have a background in sewing before that, or was that something that you picked up at that time in like 2020, 2021?
No, I like I remember in 9th grade I didn't know how to sew, so I got that like tape that you like iron down to like make seams. It's like stitch witchery or something. I don't know the name of it, but yeah, it was just like a glue tape that you would iron together, and it would like seal seams. So I made a Dorothy costume in 9th grade that I was so proud of, but I didn't know how to sew, so I used all of that stuff and like elastic. And so I'd always be like making stuff, but not to like the level of like really like honing in on it. And then the pandemic hit, and my mom was like, I was in northern New Hampshire in like a itty bitty little like just like on a lake, like in the mountains, like no one is there, period. But like with the pandemic, like I did not see like another human being besides my mother for like probably 5 months, and it was just me and my cat. And my mom was like, you are not doing well mentally, so she bought me a sewing machine, and then that kind of like honestly kickstarted everything, like me sewing and then making clothes because I was so bored. And then I just had like, I've always had so many clothes. I've always loved fashion. since I was like a kid. I would put on like the most ridiculous outfits ever, and then I would like walk out and be like, okay, I'm ready for school. And my mom would always say, not every single day is a fashion show, but it is. And
it is, Mom.
I have proved her wrong. So since then, yeah.
I want to get into the fashion and how you got started and all of your creative endeavors. But we like to start the show with a little segment called the Changhoff Conversation Cards. These are just a regular pack of playing cards, but we're going to have custom ones soon. Essentially, what we do is we shuffle the cards, we fan them out, you pick 3 cards, and then each card is linked to a question that AJ has access to. And so when you pick the 3 cards, we'll read off what all the cards are. Then you get to pick what question you want to answer. And the last 2 remaining cards, you get to choose which one you want AJ to answer and which one you want me to answer. Sound good?
Changhoff Tarot.
We'll just do it. It'll make sense.
Yeah, Changhoff Tarot cards, literally. All right, shuffle time.
Deck shuffling ASMR every time.
Sweet. All right, pick
cards.
Pick a card, any card. That's 1. That's 2. Last one. And 3.
Okay.
Nice. All right, so just read off the number and the suit of each card.
Oh. 5 of diamonds.
5. Okay, 5 of diamonds. How has your creativity helped you through a difficult time?
I feel like I just said that one. But
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. You kind of. Okay, so you don't get that one. So what's the next one?
9 of clubs.
9 of clubs. What makes you trust someone creatively? And then the third one?
Queen of hearts.
Queen of hearts. When did you feel most vulnerable with someone? That's a deep one.
That is a deep one.
Okay, so do you want to answer what makes you trust someone creatively, or when did you feel most vulnerable with someone?
I'm gonna take the creative one.
Okay.
You're gonna answer the vulnerable one.
Okay.
And then you get the first one.
Okay.
So you get, what was the first one was how's creativity helped you through a hard time?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Phia, do you want to go first?
Not me already forgetting the question.
What makes you trust someone creatively?
Honestly, I worked for like I haven't really done a lot of collaborations in art besides music as of recently. And then like putting out a collection with my friend David, and like working underneath Little Bowl for You. But like, yeah, I basically was just like sewing during the pandemic by myself. And then I saw Little Bowl for You, my friend Candace, like put out this thing looking for an apprentice, and I applied and I got it. And it was like from November of 2022 until May of 2023, and working under her, I just like learned so much. And she had like created such a beautiful community for fashion and just anyone like wanting to be interested in like sewing or like screen printing, just like so many different things. And she put on a bunch of fashion shows at the factory and yeah, just like a bunch of different places. And she kind of just curated all of these like, not like misfits, but just so many of like random people that just kind of came together through this. And I got to meet so many people, which was really cool. And she had a studio in Gulfport. She was at the factory, and then she moved to a studio in Gulfport, which was cool. And yeah, so through her, I met David, known as Polex World, if y'all know. Anyway, so we decided to do a collection together and show at Tampa Connect Fashion Week it was March 9th of 2024. So like almost a year ago. But yeah, so trusting someone creatively, I feel like it's like always been like hard for me. I've always like wanted to work under people personally and then like do my own things by myself when working with people, because I'd rather just kind of like, especially like doing like production sewing and like learning how to like construct garments and stuff like that, because Candace taught me how to like get pretty decent at like technical sewing, but like I still like am not really like big on like patterning. Pattern making is so hard. It's like reverse engineering and a lot of room for error there, and I'm still not great at it, but David is unreal at it. So yeah, when I decided to kind of like, I wanted to do a show again in the fall, because I think it's, or in the spring, I think it's good to do like one thing a year pretty much, because I spend like, each collection I've done, I've spent literally almost 9 months on them, so it's like takes up like pretty much my whole year. And it was an 11-piece collection that David was kind of like overall the like creative director, and then I was like the co-designer, but we just like worked together for 6 months on this collection that premiered at Tampa Connect Fashion Week. We headlined on Saturday. But yeah, I don't know, working with people is kind of like hard, because I feel like my brain is kind of like all over the place, and it's hard for me to like lock in and like I mean, I feel like you saw it when I was like making music today. I'm like, wait, no, it needs to be like like I have to like it's hard for me to like elaborate on like what I'm envisioning, especially because I'm really not good at drawing. So I'm like, oh, it's like this, but I have to like really try to describe it. But honestly, I was like so unbelievably lucky to work with David on that collection. It came out so beautifully. His brain is so brilliant. Like, his brain is unreal, genius. But yeah, working with people creatively too, and like music is I feel like music is so hard for me because I'm like so specific on it. Like, the collection that we put out, I feel like it was collaborative. We had so many people helping us out. Like, we had like a hair and makeup styling, like Charlotte did styling, like so many different hands were like in the pot helping out, which was like really cool because community is beautiful. But yeah, music, I'm so particular about it that it's been like it's way harder for me. So trusting people, I'm very reluctant to do. But it's not really about like the person. It's mainly about my own like creative vision and just having creative direction. It's hard for me to ease up on that. With Sure Thing all the time. Ash and Adriana, they get a mouthful from me all the time. They're like, or is it earful? Mouthful? I don't know. They get an earful from me. I'm always just like, no, it has to be like this. If we're recording, it has to be like this. Like, this is the vibe. We're going to make thongs, blah, 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 blah. And they're just like, oh, okay. But they are, like, my two best friends. So it's like, it works out. But definitely we clash working together all the time. But we have, like, unconditional love for each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think a band is so hard because it's, like, this ongoing thing where you all have to consistently compromise and find common. It's like a relationship, but there's like more than two people. It's like,
we joke it's a polycule all the
it's
time,
like
and then we had to stop joking about that. But but yeah,
little platonic polycule.
I feel like you have to be friends to some extent, but then sometimes you have to prioritize the band over the friendship, or sometimes like your best friends might not necessarily be the best bandmates. Best bandmates might not be the best friends.
Yeah.
Best musicians might not be the best bandmates. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of different factors.
We've had like a few lineup changes too, for sure. So that has been kind of like navigating the band too, because like I'm someone who like I can play instruments, just not like half as good as like everyone else that I know that plays instruments. You know, like I play guitar very mid. Like I know like 6 chords. That's all I got.
That's like most of them, or not most of them.
That's like barely half. Not even.
No, I mean
there's like millions of chords.
Yeah, there are millions of chords, but
yeah, I don't know. But I've always like just been really into music, so I've always wanted to like have a project, but I'm just like, well, like, I don't really know, like, what it would be, because, like, I feel like I'm mid at singing, and I've always loved punk music, like, since I was a kid, because my mom was, like, on the punk wave, but I never really thought I could, like, scream. So, yeah, I was like, oh, I want to be in a band, but, like, how do I do that if I don't play instruments well? But here we are. All you really need to do is have a dream and spite your ex-boyfriend, and you too can be in a band and play crowbar. Yeah, trusting people creatively is really hard. It's definitely, with music, I think it's way harder than anything else, because I just have such a specific, like, vision and vibe that I'm going for, and it's hard for me to, like, elaborate on that sometimes. I'm just like, you either, like, match my freak, I guess, or you don't. But Adriana, my guitarist, is literally, her brain astounds me. I will come in with a voice memo that is just me singing a melody, no metronome, like, it's probably off key, and I'm like, this is it, and then she just takes it away in guitar, and, like, that's how most of our songs were made for Sure Thing, and that's how like, a lot of, because it all started in my studio apartment, in my closet. I had a really big closet, and we would record in there and just make all these, like, little demos, because I was, like, sitting on all of these songs, and I was like, let's do something with it. And then we kind of assembled the band from there. But Adriana really, like, brought to life all of these songs that were just, like, in my head. So she's, like, Sure Thing is, like, me and Adriana's, like, child, I would say.
Yeah.
And then we were lucky, we got Ash on bass, but now we put him on drums, and we are planning some really exciting shows coming up, and we have Ellie on bass now, so lucky to have Ellie on bass through Ash on drums. Adriana and I have always had our spots, but yeah, Sure Thing.
Yeah.
Sure thing. That's awesome.
All right. You want to do your question, Jacob?
Yeah, I can do my question.
Do you remember what it is?
No.
Let me see. What was the card? I think
Creativity has helped you somehow. In what way?
Oh,
Get you through something
yeah,
hard.
okay, so these are the cards.
I think it's, how has creativity helped you through a difficult time?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. How has creativity helped me through a difficult time?
I'll give a little tidbit to stall so you can think of it, but we got these conversation card questions, and you might notice every suit has a theme. So the hearts, those are about love. The diamonds, those are about creativity.
Mm-hmm.
The clubs is all questions about collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And the spades, growth.
Growth.
So get yourself some conversation cards.
When they come out.
Have a little deck. Get some little conversation starter questions for your coffee table.
Yeah.
Not yet available, but
they will be.
Soon.
we're testing. This is the testing.
And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I need to say that more.
Statistics show that 79% of viewers are
It's actually
not
like
subscribed.
it's like actually like 98%.
98% of views aren't subscribed.
Yeah.
So hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button if you're liking. Anyway, okay. So, how has creativity helped me get through a difficult time? The first things that come to my mind are like music and YouTube videos. I think there's been a lot of times in my life where I was just really going through it, and I just either made a song about my frustrations or whatever, or I made a YouTube video that really just like put everything that I wanted to say out there. And even I think without releasing them, they would have helped me a lot, but just like putting them out there, I don't know.
Are you a verbal processor?
For sure. For sure.
Me too.
Yeah, I like to talk to myself out loud. That's how I best process things. So yeah, so like in the process of like making a YouTube video or making a song, I think that's how it helped me get through a lot of times, good and bad. So
journaling through the microphone.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's basically it. I have a bunch of songs where it's like that now that I'm thinking about them, I'm like really not proud of them just because they're like blatantly about one specific person. But I mean, it did its job and helped me get through that time in my life. And
Music is tough like that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes the audience for a song is yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like there's a couple of songs about people from my past where I'm like really proud of them. I think they're really bangers, but just like out of respect for that person, it'll never see the light of day. So it'll just be me.
That's always like so hard for, like, I don't know. I find that like there's like there's like this one Sure Thing song that we do not play anymore, but like everyone, it's kind of like a shoegazy like emo song, but I just like don't think I sang it super well, and like also it's like if you know me, you know who it's about pretty much. And I'm like, yeah, we can't keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
All right, bud, what about you?
When was I think it was when was I most vulnerable with someone?
Yes.
That's
a toughie.
a toughie. Yeah.
You wrote the questions.
Yeah.
It's true. We
need a revision day because this one's a little too.
This one's a little too real.
Burning. Okay. A time that I was vulnerable. I think. For me, like, making music on my own is a vulnerable process. Like, I kind of enjoy producing for people and making songs with people because I can look to them for whatever their vision is, whatever their idea is, and just support that person. But, like, at the end of the day, the final decisions are getting made by that person. Whereas, like, when I sit down and I'm, like, writing lyrics, I'm writing the chords, things are coming out. It's kind of a lot to be fully in control of that. I think I do really enjoy the collaborative side of music for that reason, kind of, because we can just like find something in common or find some common taste and make something about it. Yeah. I don't know. Is that a cop-out answer? That feels like I have some stuff I've written that is like fully written. I just have to record it, but it's just
really vulnerable.
I mean, I guess. I think it's also a vulnerable thing to put something out and be like, "Hi, this is something I made. Like, listen to it." Like, you could be listening to any song, but I'm asking you to listen to like my little song I made. I don't know. But yeah, they'll come out this year too. I have like 2 songs that are just me that will definitely come out this year.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, I have
road to 50.
I can leak something. I have a project
Leak
idea.
it.
Wait, I kind of forgot the title. What was I gonna call it?
Bing, 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 bing.
It's gonna be. I have 2 songs already. I'll probably go for like 5 or 6, and I've been writing them on this like little 3/4 size classical guitar that my sister got at Goodwill for like $20. But it's just fun. It's like miniature and it's kind of cute, and it's got nylon strings. But I think I'm gonna write a few more, and then it'll be a project called I don't know, actually. I don't know if I want to leak it yet. But it'll be all songs written on this like mini guitar.
Gatekeeping.
And it'll just be like guitar and vocals.
Gatekeeping is the name of the album.
Yeah. But then I want to have like a release show, and I'll just play all of them. I'll try to have like a little intimate thing.
That's cute.
Cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can fill up Bob's studio, and then
We can do it.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway. So thinking about that feels very vulnerable.
I would say
to
that's
just like perform songs by myself on a guitar.
for sure. That would be very
But
vulnerable.
I'm kind of excited though at the same. Like, it's like the kind of thing that's uncomfortable in a good way. Like, I think I'd probably grow from it.
Absolutely.
I would think.
That was great.
So
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
anyway, so how'd you get into DJing?
Vaughn Parks asked me to DJ, and I was like, that would be like saying no to God, you know? So I don't know. Basically, Vaughn from They Hate Change runs Sector, and they are like the coolest, kindest, most like insanely talented person I know. And they hit me up and they were like, hey, like, we would love to have you on Sector as like a resident, like, here's all the information, like, let me know. And when they messaged me originally, I was on like a 3-week-long road trip. So I was like, yeah, like, thank you for the opportunity. I would love this. I'm not in town right now. Like, I'll hit you back later. And then that was in June. And then they kind of like kept asking me because I was kind of dragging my feet on it a little bit, because I used to DJ my like sophomore year homecoming in high school. I DJ'd, and I used to DJ at Eckerd when I went to Eckerd. Sunset sessions is what they were called, and it was like Friday night. But I didn't like really like, I was a slut on GarageBand, you know, like I was making my own mixes and stuff since like 9th grade, but like I never really like ever put anything out, just like a graveyard of mixes. And then also I was like, I don't really know how, like, I know DJing is so technical, like I don't, like, I'm not like on, like, I don't know. So it made me really nervous, and I was like, oh, I feel like this is gonna be like, I'm gonna embarrass myself pretty much. And I wouldn't even say I'm like a perfectionist, but like for sure I like do not put any art out that I'm not like 100% like super proud of, that I like will put my name on and be like, yeah. So, which is why Sure Thing is no music out. But yeah, so I feel like I just like really want to work on things and not really put anything out until I'm like feel like I'm ready to. But then I went to Sector Saturday at the Benz, and Vaughn just said, hey, they were like, hey, Wednesday at 11 a.m. you're live, see you there. And then I was like, oh my god, like, okay. And it was like the perfect push that I like really needed to start Sector, and it's live, so of course I'm like, oh, like I've never used a mixer before. Like I just had my little DJ on my computer that I was using. So obviously being live, I was like nervous, as I'm nervous doing this podcast, because I don't know, live is spooky scary, but
You're doing great.
thanks.
Also, this isn't live, so it's not as scary.
But it kind of is though. But like it is, but it isn't. Anything recorded, I'm like, ooh. But yeah, so anyway, they were like, you're live Wednesday at 11 a.m. And then I did it in September, and I have my weekly show every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. I've learned so much from, obviously, Vaughn, Sid, and Jada Abloh taught me, Sid Plays Bangers, and Jada Abloh taught me how to spin vinyl. And Goth Prep Boy, gotta shout out Goth Prep Boy. Paul has helped me learn so much. We did a back-to-back set at Bananas on January 10th, and I was like fighting for my life to keep up with him. He's so quick with it. But yeah, he's taught me a lot. We've worked on a few like electronic songs together, which has been like fun and exciting. I'm gonna put those out very soon. So yeah, it was basically like Sector, and it's honestly because I am kind of ready to gear up to move, and that's kind of been like a new development as of late, but I'm actually really happy to have like DJing under my belt so I can still pursue music and not like, if like I move, like I'm not living in the same city as Sure Thing, you know. It's like I can still pursue music, because like I was in the band and I was like, oh, I need to have the band to make music because I just love making music with them, and they're like my best friends. So I'm like, I would just want to hang out and make music all the time. So I was like, oh, if I move, then I won't make music ever again. But now I'm like, no, I can be a DJ. But yeah, and I just think DJing is cunty. Like, it's cunty. It's so hot girl. Like, it's so slay. Like, why wouldn't I want to DJ? Yeah.
Yeah, I think DJing is definitely more portable than being in a band. Like, you just put your deck in a suitcase and go, and then you're there and you plug in and.
Or it's just really your USB.
Yeah, true. Even just a USB.
Pull up with a USB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like wave it and look cool, and then the DJ will be like, "Come on," and then you go up there and start playing.
You're like, "Put me in, coach."
Put me in, coach. With a little whistle. Boop, boop.
So, Phia, tell us about your creative journey, because it seems like you've done a lot and pursued a lot of different mediums. And you said opening up this podcast that you kind of just need a lot of different outlets for all this energy that you got. So kind of tell us the story of where you started and how you've gotten to where you are now.
I like that the word side quest is like a thing now, because I have been doing so many side quests for so long, but was just like, oh, I do these things. I don't know. I just do them. But I think like mainly I just like I'm trying to think. Well, I guess it all really comes back to ceramics. I work full-time at Sugar Cream Clay. If you want to learn pottery, come take a class with me. I teach throwing, like 20 lessons or so a week. And that was like one of the first things that I did in like high school and stuff, was just like I did like a lot of hand building and pottery and stuff like that. And then when I went to college, I went to Ecker College. It's a liberal arts school. It's a little silly. It's kind of a bonkers institution. But anyway, I started off doing environmental studies, and then I pretty much finished my degree, because it's liberal arts. You just need perspectives. You don't need like gen eds. I finished my degree in like a year and a half. I just needed to take the capstone. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to take like all these ceramic classes and like all these art classes and like do sound design and like all these things. And I did so much film in college. I was really on that, which is something I actually have not touched in like film, like video editing and stuff like that. Like making little documentaries and stuff like that. I have not like done that in so long, but yeah, I kind of just like started in school, and then the pandemic hit, and then my mom got me a sewing machine, and I started sewing, and then they didn't have like a wearable art program or like any fashion program at Eckerd, but they had Studio Crit, where you could literally bring in any art medium, and it was just a critique class. So that's where I really like locked in on sewing, and I think I made pretty much like an outfit a week for a whole semester. So that was it, like amounted to like, it was like a whole collection. It was crazy. But yeah, that was really cool, and I just have always liked doing so many things. But it really started with ceramics, and then in college I did a lot of ceramics, and then I started doing like archival film, like documentary filmmaking, and then taking all these classes, and then did Studio Crit so I could do anything I wanted. So then I started doing sewing and incorporating that. And then really I had a semester of installation art with Jason Hackenworth, who's a very talented artist and a hard ass in the best way possible. But yeah, so that class really, like, I did so many installations that I like could only have thought of, and that I would never think that I'd be able to like execute, because they seem like such big projects. But that was a really great class for me to explore so many different things. And then I don't know what I was saying. Yeah.
Installation art.
Yeah.
Studio Crit.
It all started in school, though. So I majored in interdisciplinary arts, so it's like multiple different art mediums and art history. And so I was just able to dabble in a bunch of different art. And then now I I work full-time teaching ceramics. I'm in shirting. I'm very lucky to have a residency at Sector FM and learn DJing. I help out with Sapphic Sun, the newspaper. It's like beautiful queer community. What else do I do? I don't know. Yeah. And fashion. Wow, forgot about that.
Do you have a project you're working on or a collection you're working on in as far as fashion right now?
Yes, I do have a collection that I'm working on, and it will be displayed in a gallery on May 3rd.
Can you tell us anything about that one?
Yeah.
What's the vision?
I feel like I'm ranting and then I'm like forgetting what I'm saying.
No, you're good.
I'm like blacking out right now. Okay, so I have a show on May 3rd. It is going to be at the Maureen Center for Clay in the large gallery. I'm really excited about it. It is a fashion collection, but it is a gallery exhibition, so it's not a runway show, which is something I've never done before. But I am really excited. I'm working closely with Zan Peters. He's helping me out so much. He works at Maureen Center for Clay. And I don't know how much I can leak, but I will say that I have some really amazing artists that are going to be featured in the gallery, such as AJ's sister, Lily Denhoff, and her beautiful ceramics.
Shout out Lily Denhoff.
Shout out Lily Denhoff. But yeah, it's going to be different than anything I've ever done before in the sense that I'm not doing like a really big like runway collection. I'm not doing a runway show. It's just going to be 5, maybe 6. But I said I would do 5, but then I just had so many amazing models apply, so I want to like include them. Yeah.
So how are the models involved? Are they standing in the gallery just...
Yeah, it's like they're on a pedestal. They are the art.
Are they like walking around hanging out, or they're just like on the pedestal?
I don't know how much I want to leak.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to.
I'll say it's an immersive fashion experience.
Wow.
That's a gallery exhibition
Immersive.
that you shall come to May 3rd, Maureen Center for Clay. There's going to be wine. There's going to be DJs that you may know. And yeah.
Say less, I'm there.
I feel like I'm telling your story of different mediums you've worked in and different projects you've been through. I hear like a few threads. One thread is just like blending different stuff, which I think comes across. Another one is just like it feels like a lot of community oriented things. Like Sector feels like very community oriented, community building.
Yeah.
Like the Sugar Cream stuff feels like kind of a community hub. Just being in a band or DJing like for a group of people, there's kind of an element of like bringing a feeling of togetherness in the room. I don't know, like it feels like very community oriented stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Community is like so important to me and like everything that I'm doing. And I also like really want to like Zan kind of approached me about doing the show at the Maureen, and I was like, all right, who else can we get involved? Like, who else would be, like, perfect to showcase? We kind of created a list of people. But, yeah, no, community is really important to me. I feel like when I was apprenticing for Little Bowl for You, like, it was just, like, such a, like, because Candace is so, like, she celebrates everything that everyone does in a way where she's like, oh my God, please take up the most space. Please be completely yourself. Like, I feel like I'm kind of, I feel like I'm kind of skittish as a person, honestly, in like the way that a cat is. I don't know. I feel like I'm like kind of like, just like I can be really silly, and I feel like I'm really silly all the time, but I'm like that now because before I was very much like not wanting to take up a lot of space and was kind of like skittish and kind of like, ooh, like, but yeah, just like being involved in community and like being able to like be like so silly and obnoxious and like cuckoo crazy, and also make outlandish things. Like, I feel like when I was younger, I always like joke about this, but I had a really big camp era where the clothes that I was making was so crazy. I would never be like caught dead wearing any of them now. To be completely frank with you, I was just in this like, I was like in art school and I was like making all these clothes and I was like, how like outlandish can I be? How camp can I get? And since then, thank God, I've really honed in and refined my taste. But because of that, I was like one of those things where it was like, oh my God, all of these people, like Candace has like created and curated like such a beautiful community of people that are all so interested in just like really truly the art and sewing. And it's like, I think about this in a way where the 90s, everyone had a home sewing machine. Everyone like was sewing, like your mom would make your Halloween costume. And then in the 2000s, like especially like 2010s, the rise of just like online shopping and online consumerism really just came into play. And now sewing is like almost like a lost art form, where it used to be like you used to take home ec and learn how to like hand sew and stuff, and now like no one does it. And it makes sense because it takes so long, and it's like patterning is like reverse engineering a 2D thing to make like this 3D garment, and depending on what you're making, like it really like takes a lot, especially when you're doing like whole collections. So it's, and I'm not saying it's lost, like no one does it. I think a lot of people do it, and right now a lot of people are doing it in an unreal way that is being displayed on social media, which is cool. But yeah, just like the Tampa, I mean, nobody's like, Tampa is a fashion city. Like it is, but it isn't, because there's not like what I like love about it is like it's us putting it on. It's like, like the boys that ran Tampa Connect Fashion Week, like Takeo, Hanjo, like it's like the community putting it on. It's not like the industry in a way, which is cool, because then it's like all the community members that like I know, and I'll like see it like the coffee shop they're like showing, so it's cool that way. What was the question? I don't know.
It doesn't matter what the question was.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Out of all of the out of all of the different mediums and creative things you've done, which one do you think that you can really like nerd out the most about?
A art form that I feel like I really nerd out about is industrial knitting. It is literally one of my hinge props that it's like an unusual skill, and I do industrial knitting. So think about knit blankets and knit sweaters. And yeah, I just have this huge loom, and you kind of wrap the string around, and then there's this carriage, and you pass it back and forth kind of. So you are like low-key getting an arm workout in, but it just knits sweaters really quickly, and it's really beautiful and cool, and it's unlike any other I mean, weaving is similar, but it's very different. Weaving is I feel like more like intricate, I would say. But yeah, so knitting, instead of like for sewing, you have to take the fabric, you make your pattern piece. Like if I'm doing a t-shirt, I'm gonna like cut out the sleeve or something, and then you cut it out, and then you can just sew it together. If you're knitting into like a pattern piece, you have to actually make the pattern piece by adding and subtracting needles, which are just like the hooks, because you would knit by hand using they're just like pokey little needles, and they make so many different kinds of knitting needles. But yeah, so basically you would do it by hand, and it takes a really long time, but the industrial machine, you can make a sweater really quickly, and it's really cool. Yeah, Have you guys heard of the sweater curse?
So what about the sweater curse? I've been hearing about the sweater curse.
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
that all
my
about?
God.
yeah, tell us about that.
So, the sweater curse is when basically you're in a relationship and you knit your partner a sweater, and because making a sweater takes like such a long time, and you put so much like love into the garment, you get dumped every time you make your partner a sweater. So that's the sweater curse
So if you're making a sweater right now
for a loved one.
for a
Think
loved
again.
one, for any loved one,
No, I made my dad a sweater. He's my dad.
He's
Yeah.
still your dad?
Yeah, he's still my dad. But
He
it's
didn't disown you?
it's just kind of like, I don't know if it's like a little fable. It's basically like girly pops would knit their man a sweater and then they would get dumped. Sweater curse, look it up. It's
Wow.
real.
The sweater curse.
it's good to stay informed.
I have
have you
never
ever-
made anyone a sweater
I was
besides my
just
dad.
I was just about to ask that. Have you ever made anyone a sweater? And they
Mm-mm.
dumped you because of the sweater curse?
Wait,
No, well, I'm so single.
but it sounds like that might be like if you want a way out of a relationship.
But you don't wanna
this
do it?
Seems like that's your way out. Make a sweater.
Maybe I'll use that.
That could be
if
a
I ever get
service.
into a relationship.
Yeah,
I'll
like if you ever want a way out and
when I'm done, yeah.
you don't know how to break up with somebody, you just all you got to do is
That's so crazy.
get an industrial
Knitting machine.
knitting machine.
Okay, Phia, tell us some of your inspirations. I know that you're pretty eclectic with the mediums that you embrace and you're interested in. So just go through whatever comes to mind first.
Musically, I feel like I don't know. Wait, why are you running away?
This camera has a 30-minute limit, so
Oh,
we have to
okay.
restart it every 30 minutes.
Wow, am I really yapping that much?
This is a typical amount to yap.
Okay. I feel like, yeah, obviously my inspirations vary per medium and per like vibe within medium, but for music, I would say some of my like top kind of like inspos are well, it depends. Like electronic music right now, I've been on the Horse Girl Miss Bashful wavelength right now. For like my like Sure Thing inspo, Bratmobile is just like takes the cake. Like they're just I'm just obsessed with them. Bikinis Kill. Yeah, I obviously love Mannequin Pussy, Animal and the Sniffers, current day, yeah. They are probably my music inspirations. Ceramics, my biggest inspiration that is a ceramicist is my boss, Allie Case, because she just does so many things, makes so many amazing designs, and runs a whole shop and sells at markets and indie flea, and is just the ultimate girl boss. And her work is just like so cutesy, and I'm obsessed with it. I have a lot of people that I follow on Instagram for like ceramics that I'm like obsessed with. For fashion though, like honestly, I'm a Miu Miu girl. I'm a Sandy Lane girl. Bows are not out in 2025. I also love like Alexander McQueen, like but like early 2000s. Obvi, I'm a Mason Margiela girl, like to my core. Yeah.
How do you feel about tabbies?
I own a few pairs.
That's awesome.
You gotta get them on the Essence sale though. Do not pay like, don't pay a month's rent for them. Get them on the Essence
The real
sale.
fashionistas know about the Essence sale.
Yeah, for real.
Do you have any inspirations from outside of a medium? So maybe like a fashion designer that you draw from for music, or like a musician that you draw from more their visual aesthetic?
Honestly, fashion, I feel like I am really drawn to just like anything. I wish I brought my notebook with me. It actually might be in my car. But for example, there was this like article when I was like brainstorming Elysian with David, which was the collection that we put out fall winter 2024 for Tampa Connect Fashion Week. There was this like 1912 article, and it was basically talking about the vascular structure of this like bunny's ear. And like when you look at like your cat, for example, like I see it in my cat, you can see like the vascular structure of their ear. And it inspired this garment that I designed that I haven't made. Maybe I'll make it soon. I don't know. But it was basically this like layered dress that was like white, and then it had this red cording and string, and then it had like mesh over it, so it's like inspired this whole translucent like blood structure garment. So I feel like I get like a lot of random inspiration like that. I also like biomimicry, like how scientists figure out how to build like whatever structure based off like inspo from like some plant, you know. I feel like I just look at like random like things within like not just like nature, but just like it, like concrete, you know. It could be anything really. But other artists that like inspire, I do, yes, but like other artists from different mediums that inspire artwork, I feel like it all kind of collapses into this like vibe for me, and it's like based off like vibes. I don't know how to explain that. You know how like the number 49, the color orange, and like Thursday all have the same vibe,
Yeah,
but
so
you
you're,
like can't really explain it.
Synesthetic.
It's like an eclectic like collage of. That's how I feel about like the art that I make. I'm like, ooh, this really doesn't make like, I don't know. It's like I'll draw. That was like the best example is the bunny vascular structure ear that I can give.
I have noticed that too. Like I've worked with a couple people who have that same kind of feeling where they have senses crossed and like certain things evoke different feelings in that synesthetic way. And I do really enjoy working with them because I feel like they can hear it in their head, and then they just are kind of pointing to things. And once you can find out how to kind of translate that, it's cool.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how I work, which is hard for me to like talk about things and elaborate and describe because I'm like, I don't know. It's just like how I started sewing is I had this dress that I wanted to make, and it just like came to me in my head, and I just made it. I just like sewed it until I was done. It took me like a day. I sewed it all day until I was done, but I don't know how to pattern. I didn't know how to pattern design at that moment, so I was just like freestyling everything pretty much, which is like hard for me to pattern design because I'm like, no, it has to like look like this, which is why I think I would be really good at draping, but I haven't really gotten to draping too much when it comes to fashion. But yeah, essentially I just had this dress design to make like the 2007 Windows blue rolling hills with like, or the green rolling hills with like the blue sky. And yeah, it's mainly I just like see things or hear things, and then I try my best to like hands-on recreate it, but I can't really draw it out. I like am not super good at drawing, and I can't like describe it. I'm just like, no, it's like this, you know.
You just have to make it then.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Do you feel like when you have some kind of idea like that where it's clear in your head, do you feel like you have to make it right away?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better at it, planning like collections and stuff, but like I would be so like immediate about stuff. Like it would be like I couldn't settle unless I couldn't like do like normal day-to-day things because I would just be thinking about it all the time.
Yeah, you just have an idea and you just gotta drink a pot of coffee and get to work. Like,
yeah, it's really how I am. I also just like I feel like I'm like a, I don't know, like a molecule like buzzing, and it's like I'm just like vibrating, and I just like have to be making stuff. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys questions now because I'm nervous and sweating. So
Go ahead.
I guess my first question is, when did you guys know that you would be great collaborative partners
Oh.
and creators?
Oh, that's a
We
good,
weren't at first.
that's a good one. Yeah, we definitely weren't. Our heads butt a lot,
Yeah.
but I think over time, just getting to know AJ and us spending a lot of time together and then us making a lot of things together, I think it kind of just, the best way that I can explain it, and I think I've said this before in the podcast, is like, I just feel like we have spent so much time together that just through osmosis, like I have a part of my brain that is like AJ. And if I run my thing through like this AJ lens, like I feel like I just kind of get what he's trying to do.
I love that. That's like cute and sweet. That's how I think like my best friend Mads. I'm not like bad at communicating when it comes to like communicating about real things, but sometimes I'll try to explain something, and if I'm explaining it to someone that's, maybe I don't know them super well, they're like, what are you trying to say? But Mads has like a Phia part in their brain, and they're just like, it's like almost like they're like a key. But yeah, that's cool. What other questions do I have for you guys? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Were you guys friends first, or did you want to collaborate first?
I think we were friends first. Yeah, we were friends first.
We were friends first.
I think
I'm trying to think of what I have to say about. I feel like our collaborative relationship comes from just being friends for a really long time, and like at this point we've kind of just had so many conversations about everything.
Yeah.
That we kind of know each other's preferences on like what kind of stuff we want to work on. We know how to be realistic in terms of like what we can handle. I think it's good that we both kind of have independent creative outlets outside of the stuff we do together.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think especially like doing the podcast for the last, we're on season 3. For the last 3 seasons, just kind of understanding what we both do best and just kind of like letting each other do it. And of course, like having some feedback, but in terms of like when it comes to making the music and like producing the music, like, I try to put in my 2 cents when I can, but for the most part, I just fully trust AJ to just make it happen. And I think he does the same for me, where when we like record all of this stuff, like he just kind of trusts that I'm just going to get the podcast done and edited and released at some point. So
yeah. But,
that's so cool.
Yeah, and so this will be, I think next week will be a year.
It's so hard
We've
to
been
trust
doing these like
people.
But that's the thing, is over time, and it takes time, and it takes like arguments and but then over time, like it's my job for the song to get made, for this audio to sound good, to schedule the guests. I think that's like most of, and like I know I'm accountable for those things, and I need to make those happen. And then like it's on Jacob to make sure that the video is good, to make sure the edit comes out, to make sure the video gets uploaded. And then once the edit is out, then it's on me to like keep socials updated, post clips, do short form stuff. And like over time we've found what kind of stuff we prefer to do, or just like, like you really hate being on Instagram.
I do.
Like you're allergic to
Allergic to Instagram.
So, like,
that's a bar.
Allergic to Instagram.
So like I know that's I'm on that. And you like to edit video.
I do like to edit the videos, yeah. It's true. I like to set up the whole recording stuff and doing the thumbnails and all that stuff.
I think too there's like a key thing in collaborative relationships where like sometimes let's say I have feedback I can give you that I think will make the thing you're doing like 1% better. But me giving you the feedback and like taking the control out of your hands makes you like 50% less enthusiastic to work on it. It's not worth it.
True.
Like if my feedback is going to make the thing 5% better, but it takes from your unless it's like a really important thing, I find it's usually better to just trust the person to do it to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think we just have that trust with each other that it's just
When's
like
your 1 year?
Next week.
Yeah, next week, 1 year of the
Next week will be 1 year of this podcast.
of the podcast. Yeah.
Are we gonna throw a party?
Well, we've got the mixtape listening party
Yeah.
Real.
coming up March 20 Friday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Almost.
Yeah,
We'll make a
almost,
cake or
almost,
something.
almost, yeah.
But yeah, I guess I can say the info now. It's like pretty confirmed, but March 28th at
Yup.
Bananas.
Woohoo.
Be like probably 7 to. Well, I don't know. If you'll get an invite.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exclusive?
March.
I mean, it's not
March 28th, Bananas Records.
like I'm down for anybody to be there, but like I'm just gonna invite everybody who I think would want to go, and then like obviously everybody, all the guests, everybody who like listens, you can bring bring family, bring friends. We'll celebrate it. It'll be cool for all the artists to meet each other. I think it'd be cool for
Mhm.
everybody to hear
Yeah,
each other's
I'm
songs.
so excited.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Our song's a little unhinged.
It's
slightly.
a banger though. That is a banger.
somebody's got to be the first
That is-
one.
That is
Kinda
pure
is a
drive
banger.
fast music.
And there's nobody more controversial. Just kidding. There's nobody more unhinged than me to really do that. My lyrics are a little cuckoo crazy, and then I feel like it's like silly. Like I was telling them earlier, I played this show like 2 weeks ago or whatever, and I was dressed normally as Pretty Princess, as I do. And this guy came up to me after, and he just started like laughing, but it was like fun and silly, and I enjoyed it. He was like, "Oh my God, I just like didn't expect like you to like make that sound. Like you're so small, and I'm in a punk band, and I'm screaming." But I loved that, and we had a little kiki about it, and it was really funny. But yeah, so I also feel like it's funny to make slut pop. It's camp.
Indeed.
yeah.
It is.
Even if
you can't
it's
argue
a
against
little
that.
crazy.
But that's what makes it fun though, is how crazy it is. Because
I
if we would have went the
know.
direction that I came up with, where it's like just a nice girl like enjoying her evening making sourdough bread, it wouldn't hit as hard.
Can we do an alternate version with that?
Yes.
So we're gonna have bonus tracks too.
bonus
Okay.
tracks.
So that can be a bonus track. Is like you can make your own lyrics and make it about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about sourdough starters?
Exactly.
So come to the listening party, get a CD. It'll have all the songs plus exclusive bonus tracks.
Yes.
Let's go.
And you can get your CD signed by all of the
By
artists.
everybody, yeah, they'll all be there.
Which makes it a fun little collectible
Like,
thing.
that's so cute. I
It
love
is.
this.
You can
I
you
love
can
this
check it
so
out right
much.
there. There's one on
Oh, yeah,
top.
check the top of that stack. That's volume 1.
Yeah. You can check that out. That's the first mixtape CD released.
Wow.
Got the cover on the front, got the track list on the back.
Yup, yup.
Wow, yapping.
And then you open it up and it just has all the signatures of all the artists in it.
Wow, SPB. My girl SPB.
on key.
SPB on key. Wow.
Yeah. So shout out.
Y'all ate this, honestly.
Thank you.
Volume 2 on the way.
Volume 2 on the way. March 28th at Bananas Records in St. Petersburg, Florida. Probably around like 7 p.m. I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
be there or be square.
Square.
All
Be
right.
there or be.
Square.
Square.
All right,
Um,
Phia. We're kind of
Do you have any other questions for us?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Well, I don't know. I just think like what you guys do is really cool, and
Uh-huh.
I'm happy to be here. And I think you guys have a beautiful friendship and a beautiful collaborative relationship, and it's cool to see.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that every now and then.
No, yeah, 'cause I feel like creative collaboration is hard sometimes. But I feel like, especially as of late, I've just been learning to like release a lot, which is so good for me because I'm not a control freak, but like I said, I just like have a vision. It's hard for me to like execute it because it's hard for me to elaborate enough. It, like, my friends that get it, I would say. But yeah, luckily Adriana gets it and gets me. But yeah, just like a lot of things, like, I don't know, like Sure Thing, I'm planning a tour right now, a whole entire East Coast tour, which is like low-key hard though. I'm like, dang. But yeah, so
A lot of emails.
so many emails.
Yeah,
I think
emails.
I've sent like over, I'm not even kidding, like probably over 500 emails
It's a lot.
to like bands, venues, and yeah, we have like only 2 shows booked.
So far.
So far,
We're supposed to
as
leave
of now,
in May. Yeah.
that's still plenty of time though.
But yeah,
You got it.
It's a fun project to be able to like have all kinds of different artists on and find those different collaborations. Like a thing I'm always pushing people towards is just like having trust in that first idea. You know, to a fault, because like somebody will do a vocal take and I'll be like, okay, cool, and they're like, wait, let me do another. I'm like, no, let's just keep going. Like,
Yeah, I know, you wouldn't let me redo
we're gonna be done today. Like, it's just no, it's done. And it's hard. It's hard because you could tweak it and play with it for a year, and it'll get a little better.
It's so easy to get lost in the nitty-gritty though.
Yeah.
Like, in the fine-tuning. I think that's where I like hyperfixate, and then I just don't really put a lot of things out there. But this is why this was really good for me. I'm like, wow, it's gonna be like literally a one and done thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I imagine from your side too, like it's nice because everything's just kind of taken care of.
Yeah,
Like
for
the song's
sure.
done, it'll be mixed, it'll come out, like it'll be out, people can listen to it.
Yeah.
It'll get promotion through that, like you're just chilling.
Yeah, it is super nice. Especially because I feel like I make a lot of decisions a lot of the time. So I'm happy to make like no decisions. Like, I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just come in, make a banger, and just let it happen.
Yeah. I hope it's yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I am too. It is a banger.
Track
1-800 freak.
track
Freak.
9, I think. No, track 8. I think you're track 8.
No,
Track 8.
I don't know if we're gonna rearrange them. I think it'll just be in the order that they're made.
possibly. We'll see.
But I don't know. I'm not gonna
We'll-
commit to that
Yeah,
yet.
we'll find out. All right, Phia.
Wait, I'm so scared.
We're gonna start wrapping up here a little bit, but I have a question that I want to ask you.
Okay.
What role does love play in your life?
Love plays such a big role in my life. I feel like I see it everywhere. My friends are full of it. My job is full of love. I'm so lucky to have like the coolest job ever. I teach ceramics with one of my close friends, Audrey, who's also my roommate, and my boss, Allie Case, who's just like the literal kindest, sweetest human being that I've ever met in my life, and her heart is so big, and she just really creates such a beautiful, safe space for the community and just anyone to like come in and try new things and kind of be out of their comfort zone. And there's also like not a lot of spaces as an adult where you can like make a mess and it's okay. When you're an adult, you're cleaning up all of your messes. And I feel like with clay and like just making ceramics, it's like, oh, I don't have to like kind of like not like censor yourself, but you're like, oh, I can make a mess and it's like fine, and I can take up space while making a mess. And like, I'm gonna make a ceramic thing. I've never done this before. It might be outside of my comfort zone. I think getting really dirty and messy is outside of a lot of people's comfort zones. Like, I literally play with mud pretty much like all day. And it's also a sensory thing for neurodivergent people like myself, so that's like really beautiful, because I feel like a lot of people don't get to just like, they're like, oh my god, it feels so cool, and I'm like, yeah, play around, freestyle, see what happens, mess it up, start over. You know, it's not like, clay is like super fragile for sure, and there's so much science that goes into it. Oh my god, with like firing and like vitrifying glaze at 2000 degrees to make it whatever, but like it also doesn't have to be like that deep. You can just like play around and have a good time, and then no matter what it looks like, it will be food safe and you could eat out of it, and it could hold water or flowers or anything. Like, ceramics are so functional, but they also don't have to be, and I like that. And yeah, community and love really just fuels my life, especially like I feel like as of late I've been in St. Pete for a while, and I always say I've literally lived like so many lives here, and it's ever changing. You know, every 6 months I feel like I look back and I'm like, who was that? What was I doing? I don't know. But it's also really cool to like set roots into a place and then be like, yeah, like I have been here for a while and I'm surrounded by all of these beautiful people creating like kind of like just like side by side, perpendicular, you know, to each other. I love the crossover episodes, you know, like, and there's so many people that I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for like Sector brought, well, Sid came into my job, which is actually the first time we met, which was like funny. She came into Sugar Cream Clay, and then like Sid was producing me on Sector, and then I met all of you through Sid and like Banana's friends, and now Sid and I are doing Wiggle Room together and like throwing like DJ shows and just like shows in general to like create a space for people to like dance and let loose and like hear some banger tunes and be silly and jump around. Yeah. So I don't know, it's all connected. But love plays such a big part of my life, and I feel very surrounded by it, which is cool. And the love of like things that just like bring everyone together in a way that I feel like is I don't know, it's hard for me to articulate it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And for people that want to see more of your work or keep up with what you're doing, where can they find you?
Yeah, what's your social? Spell them out.
My Instagram is MySpace Top 8. 8 is spelled out fully. It's not the number. And then Wiggle Room is me and Sid's new thing that we're dropping soon. Hopefully it'll be out by the time this is up. Our flyer and everything. Sid and I are throwing a show at the Benz on February 28th. Yeah, so like MySpace Top 8 is just my personal Instagram, but that's going to be the name that I put out music under. I don't know.
Is there a message that you would like to leave future Phia in 6 months, a year, 5 years from now? What would you want to tell your future self?
It's kind of crazy to think about the future. I feel like I was just talking with my friends about this, how like 2024 was the most like creative year I've like ever had in my life. Like David and I dropped that collection together. I got into graduate school at SCAD. I like started Sure Thing. I started like DJing, all these things. So I feel like 2024 was just like the year for my creativity. So and I want to move and I want to just like experience life, and if that means like putting all these things down and being in New York and being a barista, I'm kind of like chill with that. But yeah, no matter like what it is, whether it's like creative or not, I just like really want to be experiencing as much as I can. And yeah, I guess like future Phia, I hope you're creating. I hope you're like you are surrounded by love in your friendships and family and community, and I hope you're doing okay. I don't know. Wait, what was the question?
That was it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
Thank you so much, Phia, for coming onto the podcast. It was an absolute pleasure. You're great. You're one of the coolest people I know. You're so talented, so eclectic. It was a great conversation.
I'm inspired. I gotta go make something.
Yeah, I need to like go and make some clothes or something. I don't know. I gotta go learn some industrial knitting.
Yeah.
I need like 5 more side quests.
I've literally never done anything like this before, so this was like a good out of my comfort zone thing to do, because I get scared when I talk because I'm just like, ooh, I don't know. Like, not that I like really care about how I'm being perceived, but I'm kind of just like, autism is autisming, honestly. So I'm just kind of constantly aware of that. So thanks for getting me out of my comfort zone, AJ. Thanks for coming on Sector with me.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you for having me.
Of course.
And letting me into your space.
Yeah. You want to experience life? Here you go.
I know. No, this was good, especially to hear about like you guys like and your creative like process and working together and like yeah, it was good for me to hear. I'm gonna take that with me. I'm gonna bring it back to Sure Thing.
You're gonna pull up with some conversation cards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up with some conversation cards.
Okay, everyone.
All right, pick a card. Well, thank you, Phia.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
That's Phia. That's AJ. I'm Jacob. This is Chang Hoff.
Chang Hoff.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm sweating.
Bow, 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 bow.